everyone. Welcome to Mastermind Seminars Live. My name is Kevin King. I'll be your facilitator today. When you walked in the room, you got one of these. It's going to be our roadmap for today. Now, this is going to be event 4. And event 4, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner here, it's converting prospects faster. Converting prospects faster. Last month, we talked about converting more prospects to clients. The previous month was generating more and better leads. And then the first month was the value of installing systems. So now we're into year 2 of a 12-month process. But I want you to look at number 12. I want you to be thinking about that today. What does it say?
Achieve our life vision.
Achieve your life vision. Why would you install systems if you have no life vision? What have you had to accomplish? What are you accomplishing with your life? Right? Why would you want to generate more and better leads? And then why would you want to convert more of those prospects to clients?
Nothing better to do.
Nothing better to do. Right, exactly, Ed, exactly. Nothing better to do, right? So we're going to talk about converting prospects faster. So as we get into this, I want you to remember the purpose of why we're here and why you're taking time out of your day, valuable time you won't get back. So whatever you do, it's invested into your future. That's why it's so critical you know why you're here. What's your biggest challenge? What's the biggest problem that you're facing right now? Albert Einstein says you can never solve a problem on the level in which it was created. Because if we can't think differently, we won't be able to find the solution. We won't be able to see it. We won't be able to understand it. And we won't be able to do it. But together, everyone achieves more. And that's why Mastermind Seminars and Life Masteries Institute and Synergy Solutions exists. To help people do that and make that happen.
Kevin, I have a question.
Yeah,
Hey, can I ask questions? Or?
you may.
All right. Like, I'm not sure if I totally understand what that means.
Which part?
You can never solve a problem on the level it's created.
Well, if I'm thinking in this dimension, Mark, see there's 1 to 10. 10 not being perfect, but mastery of a certain dimension, call it. If I'm in that dimension, I can only see in that dimension and only at the level that I'm at. And if I'm creating if I have a problem, there's no way I'll be able to find a solution. I have to learn to think differently, and by thinking differently, I can move to the next dimension.
So does everybody track what Kevin's saying?
Yes.
So sometimes is it the same as saying like sometimes if you're in your own situation, you can't look on your own situation to see how to fix it because you're too far into it?
Now
Can't
that
see
I
the forest
understand
for
a
the
lot.
trees.
I understand that a lot more. So does anybody understand why you understand what Kevin just said? It's because you have the curse of knowledge. In the book, Sticky Messages, it talks about the curse of knowledge. And so individuals that are watching the video or watching live, this may be the first time that they've ever experienced anything, and what you just said just kind of went right over their head.
Well, let's stop and make sure it goes in their head.
And so I think, like the curse of knowledge, how do you solve the curse of knowledge? It's like you erase everything you know and say, okay, if I'm brand new this first time, I don't know anything. So how would we communicate to somebody that right there? See, I'm not sure we understand it either.
If you have a person who's blind and never seen anything, you try to explain them what a sunset looks like, they have no idea. So you have to go and figure out something that they can feel or touch.
Nice. So how would we do that?
Well, I think you've got to come up with an example of something that would be able to be solved in a different level.
I would think, brilliant.
How do you think out of the box?
Well, it's,
How do you get another vantage point than your own?
well, what's the most simplest, if this was really true, what's the simplest way to explain this to somebody? I mean, how will we know if our time today has been invested well?
Sometimes you don't for 6 months to a year.
right? What if you could reduce that to 30 days?
We'll take an already problem that's already going on in this room someone has and try to solve it with them.
Wow, I'm really glad that you're here today.
No, we did not rehearse this.
We are just in alignment, our energy is in alignment today. And so, the way that we really know that this is working, like it's really working, is that we have a problem, a challenge, and in 30 days we come back and it's solved. So to be part of mastermind seminars, it's like, are we solving one problem a month? Because if we're solving one problem a month, we get to choose what that problem is, we get to choose how we're gonna solve it. If we're solving one problem a month, how long will we go ahead and continue to participate?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm going.
Forever.
Right.
Right.
How long, if we're not able to solve one problem, how long will we continue to go? Unless,
The problem is solved.
well, what if you come every month and your problem's not solved, would you continue to come back?
If you're making progress
Let's say
towards
you're
a
not.
solution, then maybe you're not.
How would we get people, how would we get people to come back if they weren't solving their problems every month?
Have a testimony of people that were solving their problems.
I mean, if everybody else is solving their problems and I'm not, maybe it's not the system, maybe it's me. So as long as other people are solving their problems, I'm gonna continue to come back, because I'm like, here's a group of people, and these are real problems, this is real stuff that's happening. So, why is it that I asked the question and nobody else did?
We get it figured out already?
Doesn't seem like so, maybe. So what problem did you solve from last?
I solve problems like multiple times a day. That's my whole life, is solving problems, so it's like,
So, maybe you were gonna get to it. Continue on.
Give us an example of the problem. Is there a problem that you had last month when you came here that you've been able to solve in the last 30 days?
I've had lots of problems I've solved, but
But last time, this is something that we ask every time. What's your biggest challenge? Write it down. And then when we go through the 7 segments, which is speed networking, which is when's the biggest challenges, we go over the BOSS system for the DNA of people, DNA of business, DNA of life, Q&A, and then what's happening next month. So those are the places we should be able to find the solutions. So last month, do you remember what your biggest challenge was?
probably time.
Time. And in the last 30 days, were you able to solve that challenge?
A little bit. But
Okay.
time is always a challenge.
Time is always a challenge. Okay, so what was able to help you do it a little bit?
The biggest thing, my son graduated 5th grade and he's with his mother, so now I can go to work earlier every morning. And when he goes back to school in fall, he goes an hour earlier, so I can now, instead of getting to the office at 8:30, I can get to the office like 7:45 or 7:30. I can get more done from 7:30 to 8:30 than I can get done all day.
Okay, good. Anyone else? What about last month, the challenge that you had that you brought? Were you able to solve that in the last 30 days? Bruce?
Well, as you know, I'm trying to be a better public speaker,
Yes.
and I've been getting tutored by yourself
Mhm.
primarily and others in the group, and I wouldn't say that I've solved my problem, but I definitely see improvement from month to month and week to week, presentation to presentation. And it's helping me in my business as well as, personally.
So it's worth it for you to keep coming back every month?
That's why I come back.
Because you're seeing progress.
I see progress in a number of different areas.
Because if we're talking about converting prospects faster, we're looking at our challenge and looking at how we're able to do that. Were you able last month to make progress and convert more prospects to clients? Last month?
The progress was significant. I have a number of appointments set up for this week and next week and the week after that I had not been able to make appointments with, these people, high-level corporate executives that I've never had a return call from. All of a sudden, they're returning my calls.
So what's the difference? Why are they doing it now?
Potentially, public speaking, even though it's a one-on-one voicemail, I've got a better script, I've got a better presentation on that voicemail, so they're more apt to respond. Writing better emails. I'm asking questions in my emails instead of just giving them a bunch of information that they may or may not be interested in. So it's beneficial, and the group is where a lot of this information is coming from.
Roseanne, any challenges that you had last month that you've been able to start making some progress on?
Well, in dealing with the Awesome Women, we came up with some new ideas to draw women. It's coming together a little bit.
Yeah?
We've got outside sources that are recommending our group, so it's coming together. I would say that I could still use someone to, make it more exciting, but we're getting there.
So somebody that may have had more like an expressive personality.
Right.
Come on in, join us. Welcome, plenty of seats. Mark, last month, the challenge that you had, were you able to make any progress in the last 30 days?
Initially I thought no, but from last month, converting more prospects to clients, that's getting better. Converting prospects faster. I was able to get a $10,000 sale this morning in 37 minutes, and normally it takes 60 minutes.
So that's pretty significant, I think. Is it significant
It is.
in your mind?
It's huge.
So now you have another, whatever, 60 minus 37.
23 minutes.
23 minutes.
Right.
And
But
how much
that's
is your...
but that's not just one time.
No.
I mean, that's an assembly line where it's like, okay, what happened? How did it happen? How do I plug that in? How do I tweak and turn my system?
So
to
it's
make
not
that
an,
happen?
so it's not an isolated incident.
Right.
It's a fundamental change
Right.
to the whole process. And now it's not just 23 minutes this time. It's potentially 23 minutes or more next time.
Every time I
all
do
the
it.
time.
And all the time, all the team members do it. And so potentially, I mean, it's got hundreds or thousands of hours that are saved.
Because most people think they only have 24 hours in a day.
Right.
And if you have other people though that are on your team that are saving time, that are saving themselves time and you time, now your time is going up exponentially.
Right, and I just recognized how I need year 3 of this.
Year 3 of the whole 12-month process,
Right, we're on year 2. Some of us are on year 2.
right?
And so now I know why I need year 3.
Would you care to share why?
See, on this here, it's all fuzzy. And for a driver analytic, fuzzy. I mean,
No,
if I'm feeling good, then this group is working. And if I'm feeling bad, then it's not working. When in reality, I could feel it's working and it's not, or feel it's not when it is. And so fuzzy just is very, I mean, it's why airplane pilots have instrument panels so they know exactly where they're at. And so if I were to come up with an algorithm, a mathematical formula for these 12, then I could see my progress from the past to the future. And then it becomes more concrete, so it's not so fuzzy.
Because drivers don't like adjectives and they don't like fuzzy.
You know, it just,
Doesn't work.
it's so easy to feel good when you should be feeling bad, or feel bad when you really should be feeling good. And so if you don't have some type of a benchmark, some type of a baseline, you know, it's hard to know what truth really is.
About your business, about where you're actually at. Does that go back to you can't solve a problem in the level at which it was created?
Right.
So in concrete terms, what would be a good example going forward to present based on that, if this is true, and I believe it is, because I've seen it happen in my own life, what would be a good example of how we can explain that in a way for somebody the first time who's watching, and make that so concrete that the lights go on and it's, I got it.
So on the call that we had this morning with John and Edward, like there was something magical that happened. I mean, just magical.
I missed it.
Right. Right. And most of the time people do. I mean, I always wonder if I'm in A Beautiful Mind, the movie, and I'm like, am I seeing all, is this all real? Because most other people don't, but why don't they?
So why do you think you did?
Well,
You're you.
I'm the magician,
Of course.
so I see the magic.
Okay.
Because it's designed to do certain types of things. And so Journey came back. And so she's a young woman, and she kicked the butt of the young men in the group. So she was 2 minutes earlier than John today. And so he got his butt kicked by a girl. And I just don't like that. And I knew exactly that when you get a woman in, she's going to tend to be more responsible, more disciplined. And what that's going to do is that's going to raise the bar for all the men. And so it happened. And then she said, I said, did you have any questions from the last time? We had 27, no, it was about, because she was about 4 minutes late last time. 2 minutes this, she'll be right on time next time. And so we had about 23 minutes to go ahead and blow her mind. And she said, I was just really excited about last time. And it's always intriguing to me on when people get excited. And I'm always intrigued when people get excited why people don't ask, what, you think you're going to do it again to the person? It was probably accidental. So I asked her why. She said, because of the personalities, the DNA for people. And she said, I mean, you weren't perfect, which my analytical got excited about.
Which means you can go.
Right, I can go to another. She said, wasn't perfect, there were a couple things off. So I can't wait to meet her in person, because I'm going to find out what I was off on, because pretty simple. That is absolute perfection. She said, but by and large, you knew me in minutes. I mean, it was seconds. It's like, you knew exactly who I was and what I did. In 23 minutes, we blew her mind. So she came back again.
So if you could teach everybody else how to know somebody within minutes in a way that I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe no one else in their entire lives has done for them, and you're the person doing it for them, we can learn to do that individually. Do you think we could convert more prospects faster? Do you think?
Absolutely.
No matter what you do,
Absolutely.
that's the key.
Right, and Misty, who came from Missouri,
Yeah, drove 5 whatever hours.
Yeah.
Plus hours.
I mean, that happened with her within 30 seconds. And I'm ticking her off some. Hi, Misty, love ya. I'm ticking her off some. So, man, and Randy, love you too. Both of them, I'm ticking them off some. And she came back and she said, yeah, I was talking about, talking to Randy, and it's like, God told me that I cannot let you go. Now, that's a pretty high endorsement.
Right. Right. I I don't, there's not a higher endorsement right there.
And so it's like, wow, that's pretty cool, and that happened largely from the first 30 minutes. And so Journey, I mean, when Journey learns how to do that to other people, she will be a magnet. When John learns how to do that with other people, he will be a magnet. He will draw more people. He will be an attractor of people. I mean, there's no reason in the planet why John shouldn't have his own group and be up there speaking just like you are.
Absolutely. That's what this is about. It's about duplication.
It's about cloning, it's about
Cloning.
replication, yeah, duplication. And so that, you know, that was magical. And how was she on? Because John showed up. You know, not just last month with 2 other guys, young males. I mean, connected with all 3 of them in the most amazing way, and only one stuck. The other 2 didn't. Am I surprised? Yeah, I'm surprised that one stuck.
Right.
Right. I mean, so it's like, wow, one stuck. I thought I might have to go through 20 or 30 or 50 or 100. I knew I'd find one, but not in the first 3.
You
So
gotta
those
figure out a
other-
way to do that more often.
Right, and
That's
so,
faster. I mean,
Yeah.
33% on the first hit. I mean, what are the odds?
right, and we'll get to 100%. I mean, I know how to do it. Just get Journey in.
There you go.
I mean, so they won't
But
listen to
he
some
was
old
the-
guy like me, but man, you get a young woman in, you get a woman in, you know what, guys, they'll get consistent, you know, very quickly. DNA for life.
You said something very interesting, though. The key was you being there. Isn't that what you said? And because of that, because of,
Because he was able to go ahead and do it, then he took something and we said, you need to get a young lady, because a young lady will change the entire dynamics of male. Everything
Yes.
changes, everything starts to move, and that energy is very, very powerful. And he went out and brought her in. It's like, wow, he showed up and then he did something.
wow. Ooh. Mind blown.
Whoa!
Right?
So I mean, that's magical. And so Ralph Miller, who's mentored me for a number of years, he said, and he's a business guy, he's just turned 80, and he owned his own company, sold it, very successful, and then went to become a professor. And he said to me, he said, entrepreneurs create miracles every day. I'm like,
I believe that.
I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, you have a 16-year-old boy that's not worthless as a human being, but worthless around the house, okay?
Sure.
Won't work, mom, dad can't get him to do anything. He goes and works at McDonald's, and McDonald's all of a sudden turns him into where he's a contributor to society. He said, that is a miracle.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh. And so, you know, what's happened here, it's a miracle to see what happened in John's life. That is abnormal. And so that's something very special about John, and it's very special about the group. So that magic coming together, it's magical. And if we don't see the magic, it's not going to reproduce itself. We have to see it for what it is, and we have to realize how special it is, and how it's got to be intentional. It's got to be part of the system. It's the warm belly rub implemented into the system. It's the magic that we see, and that's got to be inserted into the system to be able to reproduce that. And so why doesn't Edward see the magic?
Oh, I saw that. I've seen that. That's, you know.
Well, you do, which is why you're here.
And I saw that in John when I first recruited him, because he's different than most people. It's like, you know, I don't spend a lot of time with a lot of people because it's worthless. But for John, you know, I'll spend the time with them because I know I'm not wasting it.
So in dimensional and the DNA for life, like John's at a higher dimension, and so he gets what Edward is saying, and so Edward can't reach people that are you know, at a lower dimension than John, but John can meet those people, so he can impact people at a lower dimension. And so John's delusional into thinking, well, I can just be like Edward and I don't have to take a few decades, I'll just go ahead and suck it all out of him and put it all in me and I'll be just amazing success in a lot less time. I mean, you know, he's like a little boy, he's like, sure, I'll do all that. And not a lot of people are like that. And so they go ahead and see Edward and they say, oh, he's magical, he can do all this stuff, I could never be like him. Well, you're right, you never could, but it's not because you can't, because you don't think you can. And so it's harder to go ahead and write, you know, it's harder to write John off. It's easy to write Edward off. It's like, oh, he's got all these years, it's all this and this and this. But it's like, well, I've only been doing it for, 6 months. And I've got this success. And Journey, she's a single mom. I think she's a single mom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she's a single mom.
And keep in mind, on the calls in the morning, the girl's working a full-time job somewhere. So she's at her desk working a full-time job and contributing to our call at the same time.
She's somehow balancing all of that, which for a single mom is not that big of a deal. I mean, that's like, oh yeah, that's hard. But other people, they have a hard time. What, you want me to get out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, you don't even have to get dressed. But keep your pajamas on. We don't know. There's no Skype on the call. It's just a phone call.
So when we get into the DNA of life, there's a way, mathematically, to take this, and then the next piece, and you create an entire trail of that, and then you put that into a system, and then you reproduce it. Sorry, did we get off track?
No, we didn't. That's exactly the track we needed to be on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.